How to Judge a Knife Part 2. Now, in Part 1, I told you the first thing I do anytime I see a knife, I look at what steel it's made of. This is the second thing I do when I judge a knife, is I check the handle to make sure it's going to be compatible with my use. So, what does that mean? That means that when I wrap my hand around it, and I go to work, whether I'm carving, or skinning, or just enjoying my knife in general, I want to make sure that it's going to be comfortable in my hand. Little test I do is I will wrap the knife in my palm in how I would be using it in any situation. So it might be up here higher on the hand, or it might be down here lower on the hand. Most times it's going to be here, and I just squeeze it as hard as I can just to feel if that knife's going to bite me anywhere in particular. And if it doesn't, it passes that test. The second thing I'll do is then I'll find a surface, maybe a wall or a table or something that I'm just not going to damage, and I'll press the knife against it really firmly, just to make sure that when I push, I'm not going to get any excessive hot spots biting into my hand or hurting me. I'll also hold it at any angle that I'm going to wind up using it at. So a lot of the time when you're skinning, you'll hold your blade, instead of forward in your hand like so, you'll hold it sideways, and you'll move with it to pull flesh away from bone or separate a hide or anything from what it's attached to. And then going through those grips and just squeezing really firmly will give you an idea on how good that handle is. That will turn me off of approving of a knife very quickly if the handle's not comfortable. If the handle, now there's cosmetics with the handle that you can look at, they don't matter too much. I will add this thing. I'll also look the handle over just to make sure that there's no gaps in between the steel and the actual handle material itself, because those gaps can lead to cracking and other problems as well. So I will make sure there's no gaps anywhere along the tang of the knife with full tang knives. If the knife has a guard, I look at how secure the guard is around the knife down here, make sure there's no big gaps. A lot of cheaply made knives, the handles won't be secured very firmly, and it's just a good additional metric to use in judging, because when we're looking at knives, when we're out at events or in stores, a lot of the time we can get overwhelmed with the beauty on the surface, and we ignore any of the flaws and laziness that might have gone into creating the knife, and can lead to gaps and other things down below. Anyways, that's the second thing I do when I judge knives, is I test for that comfort in the handle to make sure that it's made for a human hand. Plenty of knives out there, in my opinion, are not made for a human hand. They're too square, and if you were to spend any time working with them, they would just be uncomfortable. Anyways, part 2 on how to judge a knife.